What a dumb, dumb, wonderful football game. What an incredibly stupid, outstanding victory the Baltimore Ravens just picked up. Just like they drew it up, the Ravens win 35-34. Welcome to the Project Game Day postgame show. KZ and Steck are here so far, and Griffin, I'm Glenn. Reeta and Femi will join us momentarily. The Project Game Day postgame show is made possible by 1-800-GAMBLER. No cost treatment now available for anyone wanting help with a gambling problem. I have no idea what to say. Like no clue what to say other than this is the NFL, and in the NFL, you're gonna win games like this. Um, are you concerned about the defense? Of course, you're concerned about the defense. You were concerned about the defense coming into tonight. This entire season comes down to one thing: can Lamar Jackson continue to be an absolute magician? And tonight, the Ravens were utterly bottled up. Were behind the sticks on every possession. And for what it's worth, the moment to turn the game was a play made by the defense, which will be easily forgotten. Like everything about this night turned because Marlon Humphrey was able to punch a ball out and give him a short field, and then the entire game flipped. They won. They won. They swept the Bengals. Those things matter. They matter significantly. And while we discuss all of the other stuff, we can't forget that they won and they swept the Bengals. With that, KZ, I'll let you have your first word.
Uh, I beat up the pass rush last week. Pass rush was good tonight. They got pressure tonight. Now, Joe Burrow's one of the top five quarterbacks in the league, and he made some plays getting away from pressure. But I don't know how many sacks they wound up with. I'm gonna guess it was four,
Well,
but
Matabike
they
had three. Okay,
got
just the three that nobody else had a sack.
Matt had three.
Nobody else had a sack besides
Nobody else.
Matabike.
Okay,
Wow.
okay. Okay, but they got pressure. I heard people's names that I hadn't heard in a while. So that was a positive that's going to come out of this. And to do most of the second half without their best defensive player, we can talk about the defense all we want. Um, on the back end, I don't understand, and they'll say it's a miscommunication, but it's always a miscommunication. I don't care who you are as a safety. There's one guy. The play call is you have safety help over the top for one guy. What are you even looking at the tight end for? What universe are you worried about Gesicki or Hudson, whichever tight end it was, over Jamar Chase? I don't understand. It's not a communication issue. It's a brain issue of the player. Okay. So, yes, the defense is bad. Thank God the offense is good and a cheat code, and you have one of one. But we asked for a better pass rush the last week. We said it wasn't good enough. It was good enough tonight. And that's a positive. I'm going to take that as a positive for the defense. This is an undisciplined team. I don't want to hear about the excuses. It's a short week, blah 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 blah. It's an undisciplined team. The penalties, the pre-snap penalties, it's just Femi always gets on here and talks about the big picture and is this good enough to win a Super Bowl? It's not with those kind of mistakes. It's a great win. Sleeping, like you said, sweeping the Bengals is fantastic. It keeps them right there with the Steelers, who they play in 10 days. But I don't know how the defense gets better at this point. The pass rush was a good start. The secondary's trash. Your linebackers were trash today. Period. That's my word.
I'm not going to argue with
Bye.
much of that. Let me go to Andrew, and then I'll come to Rita. Andrew.
Well, I think the most important thing is they're 1-0 in these spectacular purple helmets. Obviously, that's the biggest takeaway here.
Do you want to address the other thing? Do you want to address who sent the night text earlier tonight? Because Femi got on Rita when she did it in the first Bengals game. Somebody tonight declared this game to be over in the third quarter.
That was quite obviously in jest.
Oh, it was quite obviously in jest. Someone sent a Steph Curry night text.
Listen, I echo a lot of what KZ said. This defense is obviously a problem, but this game was played in kind of the way that you expected it to be played. Again, I mean, it was basically, I don't want to say a carbon copy of the matchup in Cincinnati, but it was very, very similar. I mean, these two teams are gonna bash each other's heads in offensively and not be able to stop each other defensively, and that's what this matchup was in in both games this season. And the Ravens have Superman in number 8. I mean, he once again got the job done, and the defense made the one play that needed to be played. You brought it up. The turnover was enormous, and we can pick at all of the other little things that are wrong, and there are tons of things to pick at. But that's what this team is. This team is a juggernaut offensively and a team that just needs to make a play defensively in order to get it done. And then when it comes to the special teams, there's a lot to talk about as well.
Sure, we'll get there. Reeta, I'll go to you, then we'll go to Femi.
Yeah, I think that KZ said a lot of what I was thinking in terms of, what I saw. And I am not a coach. I don't know. I just don't know why Jamar Chase is ever singled. I don't know. I mean, he's the best player on their team. I'm just never going to have just one guy on him, let alone Brandon Stevens. And I understand that they don't travel with their guy. I understand that they stay to a side. I'm just saying that I'm putting two guys on Jamar Chase essentially at all times. I don't get it. I don't understand how at week 10 we are still here with people looking confused, people looking out of sync. I'm with you, KZ. I don't know what the linebackers were doing. Trenton Simpson did not look good today. But there were some good things. They did get a lot of pressure, from to Joe Burrow. Now they didn't contain him. So that's the issue, right? In terms of like that, yes, they made him uncomfortable and they hit him pretty often, tonight. So they never really, tried to, not allow him to get into a rhythm. But unfortunately, Joe Burrow is so good that he doesn't really get rattled. And maybe that, will work for other quarterbacks, in the weeks to come. But Joe Burrow is a different type of player, right? So they're beating him up, they're rushing him, and he's still making plays. So I mean, the one good thing about that I say is like moving forward, I hope that we continue to see that type of, pass rush, but it just didn't work against this particular team. I'm just never going to understand how you can just single cover Jamar Chase ever in my life. But from an offensive perspective, this team just continues to be impressive. They started off extremely slow. And, I know that I know that the inside wasn't available in terms of running the football, but I figured at some point they would try to start getting into a rhythm in the second half, and then they found their way to do just that. So this offense just continues to impress me week after week, even with the slow start that they had. And luckily, you have Lamar Jackson as your quarterback, because I would not like to know what this team is like without him. Thank God for Lamar Jackson. So, you got to take the wins when you can. I don't feel great about it, but also I ain't mad at how it ended. So, the Ravens are 2-1 in the division, and you just got to roll and hope that they can go 3-1 next week against Pittsburgh.
Our Super Bowl 35 champion, Femi. What's going on, man?
Yeah, hey guys, sorry I was late. Zoom decided they wanted me to do an update right now.
Perfect timing.
I didn't want Zoom pissed off because they said, "Hey, if you don't do it, you can't go on the air, bro." I was like, "All right, I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm gonna do it." So, man, the discipline, right? My metric is this a Super Bowl performance? Is this an AFC championship performance? I'd say for 2/3 of the game, it was not on all sides of the ball. And, we can get into the nitpicking of timeout usage and all that other stuff as well. I'm just saying that across the board, it just felt like the Ravens' biggest threat is the Ravens, and we know that. Luckily we have, Superman wearing number 8 in purple out here. And let me say this, Tylan Wallace, man, this dude just makes big plays. You know what I mean? Mark showed up with 6 for 68 and a touchdown. Bate had a nice game. Derek had a couple nice little runs. I didn't feel like they really tried hard enough to establish the run. I also was not super keen on the run play calling. It's very predictable now when they get into that kind of single back pitch to the narrow side, short side of the field into the boundary. I want to see something come off of that. And I think also Derek is, I was watching Derek's vision tonight, not his best vision night in regard to like being patient to the hole, but I mean, he was still efficient. It just wasn't enough of him, in my opinion. But Lamar made up for all that, with his legs, with his arm. And I'm nitpicking on the offense a little bit, but they definitely were having an issue finding a groove. And the penalties, right? Like, it's just too many penalties, too many times in the first half being backed up.
First and 15, first and 20.
Yeah, second and 19. Like, you just can't have it because eventually it's going to bite you, And look, let me not take anything away. I think, Reeta, you hit the nail on the head. They kept him in the pocket, but they didn't disrupt him. You know what I mean? Like, not enough. And they did get some hits on him, no doubt, and a couple ones that normally they call penalties on us. We got away with a couple tonight, thank goodness. The NFL's evening it out. They have a little thing in the back. Hey, yo, let them, hey, we owe them a couple. Let's get this one. But also, too, like, this is a game of inches, right? Like, you have the interception where the toe,
Brandon
Stevens, right? You have Joe Burrow just getting out of a sack a couple times. Like, you have Tylen on the sideline. Like, you have Jamar getting free again. You have Lamar. Had he scored a touchdown on that run on the sideline, that would have been maybe top 4 plays of the year, top 5 plays of the year, maybe. I mean, just the way he looked, the dancing, and then the way he threw that touchdown, dude, that was just like 3, got him. You know what I mean? Like, Lamar is just on another planet right now. But overall, this defense it's a problem. Like, I'm officially going to say it out loud. It's a problem. You know what I mean? And it's still the same stuff. It's communication on the back end. I think the front 7 played good enough tonight. Are they still dropping into zones where there's nobody at? They are. They need to find somebody. Don't just drop to empty space. Drop to a man, right?
Right.
A number of times I saw them just dropping, almost not aware that, like, if you just drop 3 feet the other way, you just close the whole passing lane, and Jamar Chase doesn't have 300 yards receiving.
The touchdown to, was it Hudson in the front of the end zone?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Was that exact scenario you're talking about?
Yeah. So, I just feel like this truly is a game of inches. There's a lot of things on both sides that were just this close to dashing someone's hopes or clearly making the other side, like their teammates, happy because they're making plays that are based on inches. So going back to my original statement, is this a AFC championship winning performance? Is this a Super Bowl winning performance? No, it's not. You know what I mean? In regard to points on offense, it is, but you're still going to have to play a cleaner game than this if you want to beat Detroit, in my opinion, in a Super Bowl. If you want to beat potentially San Francisco in a Super Bowl, if you want to beat Houston or Kansas City in an AFC championship game, I don't think this performance collectively gets you there. And that's the problem that I have. But don't get me wrong. I'll take a win all day, every day. I'm the purple is drinking, purple is wearing, purple is bleeding, purple and Raven. I told you that before, right? So my point is, though, is that I'm happy they got the win. I don't want to diminish that, but there are a bunch of things across the board, including Justin Tucker, that are still creeping up that make me very nervous. Like, I didn't really enjoy myself at all during that game, to be honest.
Other than watching Lamar Jackson be Lamar Jackson,
that goes without saying.
Right?
But I love it so much, but like it's a pain almost. Yep. You know what I mean? Yep. And I'm in it I'm in it. I take it. I'll take it. It is what it is because we're so committed to this, right? But the fear of big plays being given up, I almost have like big play PTSD with our secondary now. And then Kyle Hamilton, I think it was just an ankle. I think 10 days. I think he'll be back. I think he'll be all right. But we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, now I'm just kind of meandering on. But yeah,
you're good, dude. Yeah, by all means. Experience the thrill of live betting with the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton. Green Turtle Sportsbooks, the ultimate destination for game day excitement and in-person betting. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of effusive praise coming the way of the Ravens offense. Not quite as much towards the Ravens defense. Let's get it out of the way. Look, they got away with one on the 2-point conversion, right? Like, I don't think anybody's going to argue about that. They did. They got away with it. But this is the NFL, and terrible calls will always go both ways throughout the course of the season. You're not going to apologize. You take that risk when you decide. First of all, I can't believe that they saw Jamar Chase lined up one-on-one and did anything other than just throw the ball out to Jamar Chase along the sideline. I can't believe they ran anything else in that spot with the game on the line.
Well, Jamar is not 6'6", right? I mean,
I get
he's
it,
a 6-foot receiver. So, and I also saw the corner kind of leaning like, okay, if he breaks in, like I'm ready to help out. You know what I mean? So I don't think it was there, honestly. I was looking at exactly what you were looking at, because you're basically going to say he's Randy Moss. Let's throw him a 8-foot jump ball. That's not Jamar Chase's game.
It's not his game. I agree with that.
Yeah, but he's got all the game though. Like don't get it twisted, right? Like that's not Zay Flowers' game either, but he's pretty nice as well, right? I'm just saying that some of these more diminutive receivers, and Jamar Chase looks more like a running back, right? You know, that's more of his build. But I understood why Joe didn't go out there, and yeah, we got one on that. But the Raiders didn't seem to mind when we gave him one here, when the refs gave him one here, right? You know what I mean?
That's the way it works. That's the way it works.
What comes around goes around.
All right, so let's have the awkward conversation. There's plenty of pleasant, but let's do it. What do the next 10 days look like? How do you address the Justin Tucker? Femi, earlier in the year, you were very defensive. We're not going to overreact to it. And then, you know, he makes a big kick, and we all kind of have a moment where we say, all right, you know, we'll catch our breath again with Justin Tucker. And I don't think there's any world again today where the responsible way to describe it is to say you're cutting him, but we have to talk about it, and there has to be some sort of we can't gaslight this away any longer.
No, I mean what were we calling it? The Tucker watch, right?
That was Andrews. We're going back to last year.
He was on
watch.
On watch, yeah.
On watch, right? Yeah. So hey, let's be real. Like he's been on watch all season. Let's be honest about it. You know what I mean? And I think the fact that I even stopped debating about it, like after like this, was it the third missed field goal? I was like, dude, it's a problem. Like, yeah, I don't know what you do, because you're not going to cut him and you're not going to bring someone else in. You're kind of going to have to live and die by the sword, right? You know what I mean? It is what it is. That's like, let's just be honest. Like, that's what's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. He's going to work on whatever the issue is. If it's a technique thing, if it's a cerebral thing, he's going to go work on that. This defense is going to go and have to simplify everything and just say, you know what? Like, we don't need to disguise anything. Like, don't matter. Because we just need to line up and play ball. Like, we're playing zone, I don't give a damn. The whole stadium can know. As long as you know where you need to be, you can come up and make tackles and turn this front seven loose. Then let's just go do that. Because right now, you got a bunch of athletes back there that aren't talking to each other, and it's a communication thing. It's not a talent thing. And I don't know. We've been saying it for weeks. If we're saying it, and the country is saying it, and everybody on ESPN and Fox and YouTube is saying it, you know what's happening in the locker room. They're definitely talking about it. I just don't know why they haven't been able to fix it. You know what I mean? Clearly, on the one of those touchdowns to Chase, you know, Marcus Williams jumps the tight end, and Brandon Stevens is like, bro, like, aren't you supposed to be in cover two, like back there helping me out? Like, what's going on?
The one that they scored right after.
Yeah, like the one that took 13 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? So
but that's not.
I've just seen that happen too. I'm sorry, what was that?
Is that a commute? So that's one of the things we
that's not
about
a communication
before you jumped on.
Yeah.
What's that? But is that a communication, or is that just Marcus Williams losing his mind?
That was Marcus Williams playing a different coverage. Yeah. Or Marcus Williams deciding that he forgot whatever it wasn't what he was supposed to do. I can tell you that. That wasn't a communication thing. That's just a blown assignment, right? So there's a lot of ways that you make mistakes, right? You're too soft and dude beats your ass, and that nobody wants that, right? You align in the wrong place, or you just run the wrong play, right? Alignment, assignment, technique, right? Kind of approach. Mm-hmm. Those are kind of the areas where you kind of look, okay, what kind of mistake was it? Was it a physical mistake, a psychological mistake, or some combination of the two? And I think in that particular play, Marcus Williams just didn't run the right coverage. That's what I saw.
Make your trip to the game easy by saving the Easy Pass way for tolls. Go to driveeasymd.com. That's driveeasymd.com. And yes, shout out indeed to Tylan Wallace. There is no debate. Man came through massively for this team. Not just the touchdown, but then another big catch on the ensuing drive. Reeta, the way that I think I agree with what Femi said, but I'm going to run something by you, see what you think about it. Would you be opposed at this point to signing a kicker to the practice squad and saying, we're not moving on, but we're acknowledging this is a thing that's going on, and we're going to work out some kickers and have one in the building for if this continues over the course of the next couple of weeks?
I mean, I feel like I said, if this continues to be a problem, that that's what you got to do anyway. When we talked about this maybe a month ago, I don't know. So I maybe that lights a fire under him, but then I don't.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think
glad
so.
I'm not the Ravens and I'm not in this
Yeah.
position. I am glad I'm not them and I don't have to make this type of decision, because you want him to work it out. Justin Tucker is going to be a Hall of Famer one day. You want him to work it out. But you also realize that something is going on and it's potentially a liability. I don't foresee them doing that. I think that they're going, like Femi said, live and die by Justin Tucker and just hope that it works in their favor. But I also understand that this trend can't continue. And if you are at a quest for winning a Super Bowl, you have to just make an executive decision. So again, I'm glad I'm not the Ravens and I don't have to make that decision, because I can make a case on both sides. Like if I am trying to win it all, I can't feel like I can't trust you. But then again, we could say the same thing about this defense over here.
Yeah.
And we can't get rid of all of them.
Yep.
So, it's like,
Yeah. You're gonna march those guys out there, right? They're gonna march out there and go do their job. So let me ask you
go
this.
do your job.
This is I think this is the progression that I'm comfortable with. Do you mind if I run it by you guys real quick?
By all means.
The progression that I think feels fair is that he's one of your best known players in history for what he's done, right? And I still believe that what we need from him is still inside him. And this is what I would do. After listening to Reeta talk about it, if I had to make the decision, I'm going to say it out loud. I would live and die by him. I'm not bringing anybody in, and I'd I'd actually pull him into the office and be like, "Hey, no matter what you do between now and week whatever, we're not cutting you. Like we're going down with you. Like we're doing this together. Either you fucking figure it out or we all sink together, and I'm going to live with that, and I support you and I love you. That's what we're going to do. I don't give a damn what happens. But that's what you need to do, honestly, in my opinion. But you know what you do next year? Hey, but by the way, though, we're going to start this off. We're bringing in a kicker. And we may keep a kicker on the practice squad the whole year too. You're going to be tested going forward after this. That's what I would do. Because I don't think you can have Justin Tucker as your kicker, bring somebody else in, and then have him sit around and watch. No, when you do that, it's gone. It's game over. You chop the head off. It's over. You bring someone else in, and there's no question. There's no doubt. And you can do that anytime. There's a bunch of kickers that are good, right? They're good, that are out and available. There's always some kickers that are available. We hear about it every year toward the end of the season. I was on my couch. I was doing this. I was doing that. And dude ends up in a playoff game. It does happen. But I just don't think you can progress to that at this time based on who he is and what he's accomplished and what I think he's earned, in my opinion.
That's fair.
I'm the coach. I'm going to calm him down. I'm going to say, we're riding with you, dude. We love you. We support you. You're going to go down as the best kicker in NFL history and you're going to Canton with a Raven's bird on your helmet. You know what I mean? So just figure it out, get your shit together. This is what's happening. I think that would alleviate a lot of pressure. And you know what? Maybe they've already done that and we just don't know.
Yeah. I want to just add to, like, it doesn't hurt that you are the number one offense in the National Football League, so this is not the 2000 Ravens, right? Where you needed a kicker because you weren't scoring a lot of points. This is a team that knows how to score touchdowns. So I do think I agree with what Femi is saying. Is like, it's not the pressure is there, obviously, because you got one job and we want you to do that one job. But luckily you have an offense that is so high powered that it's not going to be too many situations where you feel like he's going to have to come in and make this kick to like win a football. Well, then again, with this defense, I don't know. But
right.
Yeah, but luckily this offense is good enough where,
yes, you think you can get some of those points back if you lose them.
He missed the extra point, no problem. They got the 2-point conversion. That's what I'm saying by that.
But it's the psychological effect, right? Though, of missing the extra point, like the ramifications of it, like what it means in a pressure situation from 3 times the distance, right? So,
Femi, you want to tell everybody about BetYard AI real quick?
Yeah, betyardai.com. We use AI to do game day predictions. Get a free week. Check us out. We've been working at the NFL spread and point total now for about 2 years. Having a lot of success on our baseline modeling. So go to betyardai.com, check us out, get a free week. And there you go.
So this is a fair question, and Randy brings it up. And look, I have suggested the last few weeks that it's absurd, but I do think that we have to have the conversation. And I'll let everybody. I'll go around the horn on this one. I'll start with KZ. Is there a point at which, and KZ, I know you love firing coaches, so I need you to try to do this within reason and think it through and not.
I have been bored and reasonable this year.
At what point is there a conversation about whether it's his fault or not that you might move on from Zach Orr even in season one?
I think I don't think it's this year. I don't know. I don't know where they sort of brought Dean Pease back to kind of give him a mentor and somebody that's been there, done that. And I just go back. Here's my problem. I go back to last week. Zach Orr didn't drop 4 interceptions.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
That was 2 weeks ago at this
2
point.
weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Okay. Everybody's in the right spot. They didn't make the plays. This week, I get it, but then I watch a situation where, you're playing one of the best wide receivers and you call a play because obviously Brandon Stevens was expecting bracket coverage and somebody doesn't do what they're supposed to do at that time. Now, I don't know if that is a miscommunication on the field. I don't know if it's somebody not understanding the play call. It's hard for me to say that. I think you thought that Zach Orr was going to be one of these bright young minds. I don't know that you're going to move on this year from that. I think it's not Zach Orr's fault that until tonight the pass rush has been garbage.
Andrew? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think there's plenty of blame to go. I mean, some of the things, I can't. Who are you replacing? I always go back to who you replaced him with. Like, who's coming in here? Is it Dean Pease is going to be? Well, Dean Pease is here.
Right. I get it.
He's helping. He's helping
it.
as it is. So.
If you didn't see it on the screen there, John Harbaugh has addressed Kyle Hamilton, said not too serious, but not sure of when he'll be back. Femi seemed to think that it might not be that long either, so you hope that that's the case. Andrew, I'll let you have it next.
I mean, look, what was the concern that we had coming into this season? It was pass rush, and it was, are they going to be able to hold up in the secondary with what they have? To me, this is, I mean, I certainly think there's an issue, but I think it's also a personnel issue at times. That they have good players on defense, but they don't have a defense that's playing together. I agree with KZ. I don't think that they're going to move on from him in season or after one season, but stuff's got to change. I mean, this is a 9-game sample now, and this is just. Yeah, well, and look, I think the most glaring examples are against a Bengals offense that is really, really damn good. Like, and this is what this is what it is. Like, when you look at an offense like that and know this is what you've got to do, this is the way you built the team. Like, I don't think that falls on one guy. Now, I'll say, when you see shots of Orr on the sideline, it's like, okay, man, he I'm trying not to read too much into body language or anything, but he does look a little bit like deer in headlights at time. And I don't,
maybe?
Oh yeah, something like that. There's a little bit of that in there. I think that the personnel is the problem more than the coaching, but it all roll, what do they say? Shit rolls downhill. Well, in this case, it rolls uphill to, the guys in charge. Like, that's kind of what it is right now. And they look, if Hamilton misses any time, that's obviously a big loss, but they need guys to step up. The Marlon Humphrey play stands out because that's what this defense is kind of built on. It's built on making big plays when they're needed to be made, and that's what they're gonna be. I don't think you can fire a coach or make a switch in the secondary or go trade for a pass rusher and make all of that stuff go away. Like, they're a defense that has to bend and not break and make big plays when they're called upon, and that's the reason they won this game by a point.
Rita, do you have any thought about it?
Well, my opinion doesn't matter because Harbaugh's not going to do it anyway. It's just not going to
No,
happen.
Rita,
But-
your opinion matters. Your
No, it
opinion
doesn't.
always
It's okay.
matters.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you can't. I guess I don't know how you demote somebody and then mid-season because I don't know who's going to replace him. Like you said, is it Dean Pease? I don't know. But Femi said something earlier that I feel is not that maybe could help fix this. Is just make this simple. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to over exotic things or, try to cover and mask things until they figure it out. Just make it simple. And honestly, it ain't hard. Like I said, if there's 2 bodies on Jamar Chase, to me, and all that, I don't know what else the call is, but make sure number 1, don't beat us. That would have been my strategy. Get some pressure and make sure that there's 2 dudes on Jamar Chase and then let the chips fall where they may everywhere else. I think sometimes the simplification of it all is missing. And then also the personnel is not holding up their end of the bargain. But I don't foresee anybody being demoted week now for the Ravens. This is week 11 because they played their week 10 matchup. So we just gonna have to ride with it. Just make it simple. And once you do that, maybe it changes things, in my opinion.
I mean, I assume you're in agreement.
Yeah, I mean, you're not firing Zach Ward. One of the biggest issues in the NFL, and I think in professional sports today, is we're so quick to pull the trigger on young talent. Like, they're learning under fire. Let them learn the lesson so they can actually apply it, and let's see if they can be good. You know what I mean? Like, he probably has his part in it, but I know for damn certain what Marcus Williams did today, I guarantee it wasn't what Zach Orr coached him to do.
Right.
I guarantee you when you have DBs drop into open spaces and you have 2 DBs jumping down on a flat route when you got a corner behind you, I guarantee you they didn't teach them to do that. You have 1 flat player. The DB can see that the linebacker's in the flat. Why are you coming down to the flat? You don't need to be. You need to have depth. You need to protect that corner of the end zone. You need to protect that dead spot between the front pylon and the halfway point of the end zone. But you're covering a dude in the flat who's not going to score a touchdown. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. And that's what I see all over the field. I see guys just 3 feet this way instead of being 3 feet this way. I see guys drop into open spaces when there's a dude literally like, yeah, you have the flat, but there's nobody in the flat. Why are you dropping to the flat? Protect that kind of curl flat area so you're in between. Like most MDM, right? Most dangerous man. Like, drop to that. That's what I want to see. And I'm sure they're coaching it up and they're trying to get guys to do it. But I clearly see that they are not technically sound. This is the thing. If they can just eliminate the big play and the penalties, like penalties across the board and the big play on defense, they'll be solid. You know what I mean? Because really what it is that today's issues was completely the back end. It was the linebackers and the safeties and the corners. The pass rush today, hey, you got to take that pass rush all day. Like, you'll take that. You know what I mean? That can win you a game for sure. I think Ayanbadejo had 3 sacks?
Yep, he did.
Yeah. How many sacks did they have total? 5?
No, that's 3.
Oh, that was it? I thought they had a couple more. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, I did too.
But
I was surprised by that.
Owe had 4 hits on the quarterback
Okay.
too.
All right. So the bottom line is they definitely, any average human, not named Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson or Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen, probably would have had a much harder time tonight. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking upper echelon quarterbacks that were going to be able to handle what they handled tonight. You know what I mean? And Joe Burrow did a great job. I think,
but with the caveat that those are the guys you're going to have to face in the playoffs if you want to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, listen. Every time the Ravens and the Bengals play, or the Ravens and the Browns play, or the Ravens and the Steelers play, I just say throw the records out the window. I don't give a damn what if it's more than 3 or 4 points, you might as well just go ahead and take the dog. You know,
they were still they were an inch short on that 4th down play of getting me a damn cover. They were an inch short.
Yeah,
and I'm still not certain that they even got it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, on that 4th down,
I kept looking at it.
But how frustrated were you the fact that they even got it though? Like,
Oh
that's the
yeah.
part that I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
like, wow.
100%.
Like the ball was perfectly placed. It was a great catch. I mean,
Yep. I get
sometimes
it.
those NFL players make NFL plays, right?
No doubt. Hey, join us for the Arthur Millette Show on Tuesday night, November 12th, Mother's North Grill in Timonium. We're back in action. Find out more by going to PressBoxOnline.com/Millette. That's the Arthur Millette Show, Tuesday night, November 12th, Mother's North Grill in Timonium. Now, this is going to be my favorite part of the show. I give to Ken Zales. Please give me your thoughts on John Harbaugh challenging a 2-yard gain on the first drive of the game.
I mean, it's idiotic. We all know that. I mean, it's just it's a. It didn't even, and we were in our little text thing. I don't care if he won it. It's stupid at that. It's look on the clock. Like it's too early. Number one, it's a meaningless play. Number two, whether you win it or
3-yard
you lose,
gain.
it's
3-yard
just
gain.
it's and that's and everybody, the whole discussion is whoever advises him, on when to challenge is that person needs to be fired if there's that person. And I'm like, he doesn't have, like, at that point, his brain, like, that person's job is to tell him whether it's whether he thinks the play would stand or whatever. Coach Harbaugh has the choice at that point to understand, okay, first quarter, it's only a 2-point, like all those things as a head coach before you throw the flag. And I know he's an emotional coach, but it's like it's just an idiotic challenge. I'm sorry.
So here's my biggest problem with it. And Al Michaels said something about the timeouts that I completely disagreed with. He said they may not be as valuable in the first half as they are in the second half. When you
They
have
got
an
the ball
offense,
back with 30 seconds left at the end of the second quarter.
and when you have an offense like this one, 2 timeouts or even 1 timeout can be super duper crucial. How did the first half end, Glenn? It ended with a play around midfield.
Deontay Johnson couldn't get out of bounds. Yep.
And couldn't get out of bounds. And wouldn't it have been great to have a timeout there? Like those are the fine margins that this coach fails to realize by doing stupid stuff like challenging a play like that. It's absolutely more timeouts at the end of half when you it'd be different if the Ravens had a piss poor offense. They have a lightning fast, quick attack offense. I mean, we saw it on the Tylan Wallace touchdown. They can score lightning quick, and they can get themselves into position. And look, the kicker is what the kicker is. But if they could have gotten into field goal position at the end of that half there, it could have changed the complexion of some things. It could have. You might not have needed the Marlon Humphrey play. You might have changed the momentum right then and there at the end of the half by getting some more points and more. That's where the fine margins need to be fixed, and that's what really pissed me off about that.
Femi, John's point was that it's different from the 5-yard line and the 2-yard line, and like factually speaking, yes, of course it is. We know that, and I feel like if it was the difference between second down, if it was going to be 3rd and goal from the 5, it was going to be 2nd down from the 2-yard line. Like the difference in 2 plays and 5 yards is not all that significant to me. I can't listen to that as a good argument given the situation.
I mean, there's a couple different dimensions that you have to consider. I think like it was early, there's a lot of other things that you need to consider, I think. And I understand what he's saying, but the juice probably is not worth the squeeze in this case. I think everybody's kind of agreed on that. I honestly don't have anything else to add to that. We know that the kind of use of challenges and timeouts, they've hurt us at times, right? I mean, to say the least, right? It's happened. So I don't know and I think early on in the season, we talked about the process of when to challenge and who's in charge of that and where they're located and how that process works. I think ultimately, at the end of the day, Coach Harbaugh can call a challenge anytime he wants to. You know what I mean? So he could be doing it on his own, just feeling that he had a good view, or it could be relayed to him. But at the end of the day, I guess the decision lies with him. So I do understand the issue. And this goes back to my point about just clean games. When I say clean games, I mean everybody. You know what I mean? From the coaching staff to the players on the field to all 3 phases of football. Like you're going to have to play a clean game or very close to a clean game and make smart decisions across the board to win tough games. And timeouts matter. So
with that in mind, Jonathan asks the question, like, what do you do about the penalties at this point? Like, who is it a reflection of that this continues? Like, again, you can't get rid of all of the players, and nobody's saying get rid of but like, how is this? And we all know that there are going to be penalties. You're never going to play a game without penalties, but to the point, the sheer number of times, and I will argue that the one of the men downfield I thought was a bad call. He was still very much and there was
on
another
Linderbaum. It was terrible.
Yeah, I thought that was a
But
bad call.
the whole rule is lame in my opinion because it's about getting an advantage. When you're drifting upfield, just drifting with no intention of doing anything, or you're just kind of acting like you're doing something. Like, come on, man, that's not the spirit of the rule. Like, it's about getting an advantage and having linemen downfield when you're throwing the ball, like, for receivers to get illegal screens downfield, right? I mean, I understand the spirit of the rule, but it's just not being called that way. And I don't know why they decided to make it an emphasis. Now, if you can see with your eyes that the linemen used it as an advantage to gain for the receiver or the ball carrier to gain an advantage, then I understand calling it. But the rigidity of it is just what irritates me. Now, to go back to your point about the penalties, I know Coach Harbaugh teaches discipline. I know that he typically has had very disciplined teams. And I always think that good disciplined teams tend to be really good special teams. You know what I mean? There's a correlation there. And obviously with the new rules and things, special teams has been kind of mitigated a bit, but the answer is I don't know what you do at this point. I don't know what kind of emphasis it's getting in team meetings. I don't know if it's emphasized in breakdowns of special teams, offense and defense. Like, at this point, it just seems like it's not like well, the linemen are getting called for a lot of stuff. Let me say that. Falele, I don't know how many penalties he had tonight. 3, 4?
I mean, I definitely remember 2. I don't remember.
Am I exaggerating now? Am I adding like insult to injury? But
no, you might not be because it all runs together. But
I just don't know. Like, other than talking about it, nobody's going out there trying to jump off sides, right? Like, no one's going out there trying to grab a face mask. It's just there is some expectation of some amount of penalty, just like it's a reactive thing sometimes, but it is too many. And I'm going to echo what I've been saying this whole time. My metric for championship worthiness is a clean football game. That includes the penalties too, right? You're going to have to reduce those. I have like these little things across the board. What's allowing the Ravens to be so good is they're just more talented than everybody at this point. They really are. You know what I mean? Like 53 for 53. I mean, you get to show me a roster that you're going to put ahead of this one. I mean, some people have said the Niners, but when they play us, they get their ass whipped. So I don't really know what that means, but it's a problem.
Experience the thrill of live betting with the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton. Green Turtle Sportsbooks, the ultimate destination for game day excitement and in-person betting. Unfortunately, there hasn't been much football played since the last time we did a top 5. Oh, that's funny. I did not.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yep, they didn't get 100 yards. They got 99.
That's funny.
They got 99.
I mean,
I looked this up while y'all were talking, and I was like,
no.
they got the 100 yards. So they did not get the 100 yards.
You can't get me to care about a team rushing record. They won the football game.
I'm shocked that they allowed that. The coaching staff allowed that to happen.
I know, right?
I mean, if it had been a 2-score game, they're gonna go get that yard. It was a 1-point game at the end. They had no choice.
I know,
no choice to do anything other than kneel in that spot. No choice whatsoever. All right, we can do an updated top 5, but again, it's largely going to be the same. Although Green Bay did lose since the last time we talked, so that probably does have.
Yeah, let's just blow through it real quick. Let's just see if people are changing their minds about certain things.
All right, Femi, you want to go first then?
No, I go last, bro. I go last.
Oh, because it's your game.
Figure it out.
All right, I'll go first. Kansas City, Detroit, Baltimore, Washington, Buffalo will be my number 5.
And the way to do it is you go from 5 to 1.
Oh, right. Yeah, I screwed up.
I
actually wrote it. You know what happened? I know that, and I wrote it down in the incorrect order. Buffalo 5. I guess that's the way I did it that way because it's only one newcomer to the list. Buffalo is the team. I'm putting them ahead of Pittsburgh. I just always trust. I don't know. Buffalo is my 5. So Buffalo, Washington 4, Baltimore 3, Detroit 2, Kansas City 1.
Well, I'll jump in because we have the same top 5, just in a slightly different order. I have the Commanders 5, the Bills 4, Ravens 3, Chiefs 2, Lions 1.
Fair.
I have yours, Glenn, but I switched out the Bills for the Eagles. I'm gonna stop stop ignoring the Eagles at this point. I mean, Saquon. Okay. Hey, but anytime you do that,
it's insanity. It's insanity.
You gotta get put in the top 5. So
I feel you.
I
can't argue
Philly.
with that. Hey, that was nice.
It was super nice. I got Philly, Washington, what was the
Ravens, Detroit, Kansas City.
and then I got to put. I know I switched them. I can't. They got DeAndre Hopkins now. All right. I got to put Kansas City at 1 now. So
KZ,
Pittsburgh's at 5. Philadelphia Eagles are at 4. The Ravens are at 3. The Chiefs are at 2, and Detroit Lions are at 1.
is Griffin going?
Yeah, Griffin.
Go ahead, Griffin.
I have the Commanders at 5. I got the Steelers at 4. Pittsburgh is number 4. Then the Ravens at 3. The Lions 2, and Kansas City number 1.
Wow, no Buffalo, huh?
No Buffalo.
No Buffalo.
Only barely beat Miami.
Yeah.
True.
Man, I've been
the Ravens just barely beat the
around a little
Bengals.
bit
I
on
hear
this.
you.
So I think, man, I'm probably gonna have to go. So because Washington and Pittsburgh actually play this weekend, I think Washington's gonna beat them. So for that reason, I'm gonna put Washington at 5. I'm gonna put Buffalo at 4, Ravens at 3, Detroit at 2, and Kansas City at 1.
There you go.
Washington's got a fun test because they have Pittsburgh, and then next Thursday they've got the Eagles. So
Right.
And they already beat the Bengals. Remember, that was
That's true on Monday night. Yep.
Yeah,
Monday night.
so-
That was Jaden Daniels' big moment.
Yeah. So
Make your trip to the game easy by saving the Easy Pass way for tolls. Go to driveeasymd.com. That's driveeasymd.com. Okay, so that's interesting. That was completely improvised by Mark Andrews, leading to the tie. That was a third down play too, correct?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that was huge. That was huge.
Yeah, good call. I mean, the touch on that ball though, man, Lamar's got all the angles and all the touch. Remember how we used to sit back and be like, damn, I wish the deep ball had a little this, or he would do a little this, or he would drop in, or he'd feather it in here. Man, he's doing all of it now. It's crazy.
He's saying it no more.
Yeah.
He's something, man. We are so effing lucky to get to sit back and watch Lamar Jackson. I have to say that to myself a few times.
And you know what's crazy? I actually was having a conversation today at the gym, and a gentleman and I were talking about, who my favorite players were. And I think for the first time this season, I actually changed my order of ranking of favorite players. Like I grew up, Walter Payton was always my number 1, and it was Steve Young was number 2, and Joe Montana was number 3.
Because you're a Bay Area guy.
Yeah, I was a Bay Area guy, but I was born in Chicago, so I grew up with the Bears first, and then I would say, well, after that, like, there's a bunch of guys that I respect and I like a lot, but like Lamar is my favorite player that I've ever enjoyed watching. And then like recently, I've been like, no, Lamar is my favorite player that's ever lived. He's legit, like he's earned it now. Like I don't give a damn. Like I don't care when you were born, who, what era. Hands down, Lamar Jackson. He's the guy I enjoy watching the most out of any player that I've ever observed.
Just seeing those numbers on third down in the second half, 7 of 7, 133 yards, 3 pass TDs, perfect rating. God damn.
He was getting chased around, and he was getting chased, dog.
Yep.
Like it was plenty of times I thought that he was about to get sacked.
Yeah.
And he just found his way like out of it every time. And I just was like, I just don't understand.
That play on the sideline. I wish he scored on that. That would have been one of those plays, right? I think I said that earlier when I first came on, probably, but
it would be eternal. It's still eternal.
It is.
It's still eternal.
It was a first down. It was a first down.
Right.
Sports Center just put up a graphic tonight too after this game. Through 10 games last year, Lamar was 7-3. He's 7-3 this year. He had 10 passing touchdowns last year, 24 this year, 5 INTs last year, only 2 this year, 481 rushing yards last year, 539 this year.
That's bonkers, dude.
Way better than his MVP season statistically last season.
That's insanity. I don't even like.
It's unreal.
We're spoiled big time.
We are extraordinarily lucky that this
Here's
is
a scramble, Femi.
Oh, the dots, the dots on the scramble.
Yeah.
Like somebody, I think it was Benjamin Solak, got a screenshot of him standing at the 30-yard line with 2 defenders right on top of each other, and just said, "This man was tackled at the 2-yard line," and it just. It's insane, man.
By the way, the
God.
test for him now is Pittsburgh, because
Yeah.
that's
Because
kind of
that
always
is his
been
Achilles. That he
kind of been the
cannot.
bugaboo.
It's
Yeah.
two things. He's played well against the Steelers and he's beat the Steelers, but he's never played well and beat the Steelers.
Yeah.
Correct.
He's
By the
never
way,
played.
how stupid is it that you've already played the Bengals twice and you haven't played the Steelers yet? Can we
it's-
fix the NFL schedule?
I mean, it's
Like,
pretty. It's really hard. Those schedules, like I've seen, like the math behind the schedules, dude. Like you'd be surprised how much time and money they put into getting that shit right, dude. And it's always
I
going to
hear you.
disappoint some people. Like it's inevitable.
Well,
You know,
and
they
it's
do the
all the
same. They
stars.
do the same dumb thing in baseball where you
Yeah.
play
Yeah, it's
a team
compli-
twice
it's-
in April and,
And,
don't play
and
them
yes, it's
again.
further complicated by like the Ravens share a parking lot and can't,
exactly.
like there's situations like that in an awful lot of
hey,
cities
hey,
where
guys, first world fucking problems, right? First,
yeah.
world problems.
100%,
Let's-
100%.
let's-
It's weirder that it's weirder that the Steelers haven't played a division game yet. Like that's really freaking
Meanwhile,
weird.
the Ravens
this
have played
game,
three.
because the Ravens
Right.
played tonight, like the Steelers Washington game is my game of the week. I cannot
Yep.
wait. I cannot
Yep.
wait for that game.
But
Yep.
these next 3 games for the Ravens are fun leading into the
Yeah,
bye.
it's gonna be tough,
at
dude.
Pittsburgh, at the Chargers with
Yeah.
a Harbaugh, and then back home for the Eagles. Like this is a
Hey, if you
a
sweep
challenge.
this, that's a gauntlet.
No.
I feel like the whole
One at a
schedule.
time, but-
We look, because didn't we talk before the season started? We talked about the first 5 weeks is
Yeah.
going to be. So this whole they have what the third toughest.
They had the
schedule?
hardest. They had the hardest
The
schedule.
hardest.
Yeah.
Okay. So guess what? This is just what it's going to be, right?
Well,
and
yeah.
I think beforehand we talked about what did we say? We thought that they'd win 11 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We said
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look, they've had 2 breaks on the schedule. They just blew them. They just lost those 2 games. So the 2
Yeah.
breaks they had in the schedule. All right, we can wrap with that because Cordell does bring it up. Anyone want to react to the fact that the fans did boo after
Yeah,
the
they-
first drive of the second half?
They weren't booing Lamar though. They were booing the
Yeah.
product. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like, let's
Yeah.
be real. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that was what Cordell was trying to say, but you can. Good job on his part. Create a little, a little something.
Throw some
there.
pepper.
Wait, what
Throw
is he?
some
What is he trying?
pepper.
What's he trying to say? You know?
Well, and
mix it
guess
up a little
what? The best offense in the game scored 7 points in the first half. Like
Right.
that's what they were reacting to.
Yeah, for sure.
And the play calling was suspect.
I did not like the play calling
Like
at
the
all.
play calling was suspect in the first half, and it just you did it was almost like when we talked about early in the season, like they didn't know what they wanted to do. Like, are we going to be the Derrick Henry,
Yeah.
RPO show with Lamar? It's like it was just
But
some
Casey,
of their
they're
calls.
they
it
were
was
trying.
just
I think they were.
weird.
I think they were trying to like they were floating flyers out there just to kind of see like how things would react. I don't think they expected to go, 3 and out, like 4 times in the first or 3
Right.
times.
Yeah,
in the first?
at
Yeah,
least-
like,
Yeah,
was a
everything
weird
but the
first half.
touchdown drive.
like I really
Everything
think
but
that
the
they
touchdown
thought
drive.
that they would learn and get some information and they would be a little bit more productive. But he came out in the second half and he dialed it up. You know
Well,
what I mean?
and-
But I hear what you're
100%.
saying,
It's
though.
just looked like if you were
It
at
looked
that game,
disjointed, right?
disjointed. So they weren't booing Lamar. They were just
Oh
booing
no,
the
yeah,
product.
no,
like you
definitely.
said
Yeah,
at
they were
that
just
point.
like, "Come on, guys, like, let's go." Did
I
you hear the
think
guy?
it's-
Did you hear the guy that got caught on camera?
Yeah, what did this?
Like a bunch
this
of
shit-
assholes out
yeah,
there?
yeah, that's what it was.
Stop
Thank
playing
you.
a bunch
Yeah.
of assholes.
Yeah. I would add to the point that the thing that Griffin put it up earlier where Lamar said he was expecting more blitzing because they did so much of that. It does seem like that might have been an impact on the first half as well because they were calling a ton of screens. They were calling a lot of stuff to get the ball out quickly. And it just seems like they had to adjust to the fact they weren't getting blitzed the way that they expected to be blitzed because of what Cincinnati did in the first matchup. So,
Yeah.
look, they got it figured out. That's the part that matters. They swept the Bengals. Those are the parts that matter out of tonight. They
Yeah.
figured it out. They swept the Bengals. Now they got to fix that defense. Now they got to do something to fix that defense. Something at all. Tylen didn't know that he had stayed in. That shot where you can see that like it really is just him picking up his heel on the sideline. That's
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
Like it's wild, man. Like wild. And again, given what had happened with Brandon Stevens earlier in the game, the Ravens were due one of those going their way.
Yeah. Well, just think Isaiah Likely's toe in Kansas City. Then you have
Right.
to play on the side. Like, dude, it evens out at the end of the day, dude. It just does. Like these weird things even out,
Yep, 100%. 100%.
All right,
Hey,
y'all.
appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. Femi, we will talk to you on Monday on GCR.
Yep.
Reeta and I will be together Monday morning, 6 a.m. over on 105.7 The Fan. So make sure you come hang out with us Monday morning as we're doing the morning show. We'll be in for GCR tomorrow morning. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Project Game Day has been made possible by 1-800-GAMBLER. No-cost treatment now available for anyone wanting help with a gambling problem. We will see you after the Steelers game.